everybody, I'm Johnny, and first and foremost, I'm a Christian. I'd like to give a big, warm, God bless you to a man by the name of SamiZataari, whose newest video kicked the crap out of all atheists. Sammy, you may be wrong about which is the right religion, but I'm as sure that you're right about this as I am that Jesus' tomb was empty. What Sammy says in this video is that if atheists try to tell us theists that we shouldn't teach our children about God, that they shouldn't teach their children about atheism and evolution and the Big Bang. Especially evolution. You know why? Because it's indoctrination. We're not allowed to tell our kids about God because we don't want to indoctrinate them. But they're telling their kids about evolution and that indoctrinates them, so they shouldn't be able to do that either. I have always been against the idea of indoctrination. You know why? Because God gave us free will. And to force a belief on someone when they're young and naive and uneducated and have no critical thinking skills whatsoever is indoctrination, and that takes away their free will. Which is why I think we should all tell our children about God from as early an age as possible, because that way they can't get indoctrinated with false beliefs. Atheism. It's not really the fault of the atheists, though. It's just that they've been lied to. They never really had anyone to tell them about God and the love He has for them, and as such they've just accepted anything that they hear, just things with no evidence at all, like evolution and the Big Bang. I think that deep down, every atheist is just a lonely child reaching out for God, and they need someone to tell them about it, and then and only then will they be happy. But that's beside the point. Sammy even quotes an expert in his video, proving his point beyond any shadow of doubt. I mean, come on. If one expert is willing to say something is true, every other expert really doesn't matter. Like, doesn't matter what they say or they think, because it doesn't change the fact that this one expert said it's true. There you go. The expert says that children are naturally inclined to believe in the design of nature, and that there must be an intelligent designer behind it all. This is unquestionable proof that the atheists are deluded. Children are young, naive, uneducated, unintelligent, and almost completely unexposed to the world. Who better than to judge the nature of the universe than them? The expert also says that if we were to take a bunch of people and put them on an island somewhere where they would raise themselves, and with no contact with anyone who would know anything about evolution or the Big Bang or any kind of scientific theories that could explain the universe or the world to them, with no science or education whatsoever, that they would believe in God. And that settles it for me. I don't know about you, but a bunch of people raising themselves on an island alone and believing in God, there's no explanation. There must be a God. A scientist actually once told me that humans are pattern-seeking animals, which already meant that he was wrong because humans aren't animals, they're better than them. But I gave him the benefit of the doubt. He said that humans are naturally inclined to put a face on causes that they don't understand. He said that this could explain why we believe in God, because we want to put a human face on the thing that created everything and that caused everything, because we have no other explanation for it. I laughed in his face when I heard this. Can you imagine anything so stupid? Of course we personify things we don't understand as human. We were created in God's image. Therefore, God must look human. And God did cause everything to happen, which is why we personify things, because there is a God. It's that simple. The final thing this expert said, which really does ring true, is that intelligent design as an explanation for the world comes naturally to children because of its simplicity and its ease to understand, whereas evolution is complicated and requires years of education, and it requires explanation, and it's unnatural. Children weren't meant to believe things that are complicated. Children are meant to believe things that are simple. I mean, it makes perfect sense. Like, if you were to tell a child, hey, did you know that God created everything? It's a simple explanation. It's obviously true, and there you go. Now the kid knows how the universe came to be. The reason it's so simple is because God wants it to be simple. God made the intelligent design theory simple and easy to understand so that we would understand it, because God cares about us. Did you know that nothing in evolution is actually based on the Bible? It's clear the devil designed the theory. Plus, come on, evolution? Really? Who really believes that humans came from monkeys? I mean, if humans came from monkeys, why are there still monkeys? I mean, was it just like, you know, someone came to them one day and said, hey, which one of you monkeys wants to become human? Like, some put up their hands and some didn't, and then they became human? Like, that's ridiculous. And plus, if that happened, we would have transitory fossils between monkeys and humans, wouldn't we? And we have none. All we have are individual species. We don't have any transitional fossils. And in intelligent design, there are no vagaries, there are no gaps. It's a perfect theory, and it's absolutely true. You know why it's true? Because it's based on the Bible, and the Bible is true. You know what, Sammy? I think you're right. I think atheists shouldn't be allowed to spread their evil lies to children anymore. But it shouldn't just be with evolution. There was once a man named Albert Einstein who came up with like a theory about time spaces and relatives and all sorts of mumbo-jumbo that didn't really make any sense. I happen to know that nothing in that theory is based on the Bible. So if ever a child asks you what the properties of a black hole are, don't tell them it's a collapsed star like the devil wants you to believe. Tell them it's just what happens when you sin. God gets angry and tears a hole in space. And that's what happens. God does it. I mean, if you tell them otherwise, it's indoctrination. If you were to try to tell them what a black hole actually is, it would be complicated and difficult to understand for them. And so it would be unnatural, and that's not what God wants. God wants them to see that it's just Him doing everything. And another thing, the workings of an internal combustion engine, like they have in cars, those are actually kind of complicated and difficult to understand. So if a child asks you how an internal combustion engine works, don't try to explain it to them. It's unnatural. Just tell them that the engine is powered by God, and that gasoline is God in liquid form. That would be totally natural for them. Oh, and the light bulb? Don't tell children it's electricity running through a wire. That's indoctrination. Just tell them it's a piece of God that someone put in a glass bulb. That's why it's bright. You see? It's easy. It's time we stopped indoctrinating our children with all this blasphemous nonsense. Just tell them that God does everything and they'll be fine. By the way, Sammy, you're a smart guy. I'd hate for a guy like you to go to hell. So just letting you know, it's never too late to convert to Christianity. May Jesus bless you with His eternal light and forgive you for turning away from Him. Goodbye, everybody. See you in heaven.